360 coming to you live from the News Up here at Adesawe Kanda. I am Portia Gabor.
And I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey. These are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal, EcoBank.
Government to unveil enhanced anti-galamsey measures soon, with Lands Ministry vowing decisively to take action in tackling illegal mining activities.
Ashanti region records 232 maternal deaths, far exceeding national targets, prompting urgent Ghana Health Service response to train and equip health workers.
Also coming up, farmers in Pwalugu in the Upper East region race to harvest their crops amid quite volatile flooding and the imminent spillage of the Bagre Dam.
On the international front, U.S. Defense Secretary fires Pentagon's intelligence agency chief just weeks after a White House rebuke of a review assessing the impact of American strikes on Iran.
We have details of all these stories, plus your comments and views on the stories we are going to be sharing with you tonight.
Now, government's renewed commitment to fight illegal mining could hit a snag following sabotage by some party officials. National organizer of the NDC, Joseph Yamin, has accused the Inspector General of Police's Special Anti-galamsey Task Force deployed to the Manso-Edubia area of extortion and incompetence. A report by Stanley Niblu.
Illegal mining, also known as galamsey, continues to wreak havoc on Ghana's ecosystem, threatening the very survival of the cocoa sector and the country's major cash crop plantations. Over the years, successive governments have deployed significant resources and security personnel in a bid to curb galamsey, but no remarkable progress has been achieved as the destruction of water bodies and forest reserves worsens. Stakeholders and environmental activists have intensified calls on government to escalate the fight against illegal mining, following the tragic loss of 3 military servicemen and 5 government officials. Minister for Foreign Affairs Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, in the wake of the tragic helicopter crash, confirmed President Mahamat's renewed commitment to halt galamsey and restore degraded lands.
I can confirm to you that you are going to see a fight that has never been witnessed in this country. President Mahamat is going to lead a very ruthless and relentless campaign against galamsey. He has not minced words at all. We had a brief cabinet meeting earlier today, and the president was very clear. There was no ambiguity that he will be leading a war that we have never seen.
Currently, the IGP Special Anti-galamsey Task Force operating in Manso-Edubia, Echumanwabieja and Diaso enclaves has made notable progress despite hostile working conditions. However, it does appear that the gains made are deliberately being eroded. NDC National Organizer Joseph Yamin, addressing residents at Bontres, launched a scathing attack on the team.
The operation is somehow a way to enrich some people, not to fight the galamsey. Anointing America, so I'm paying halt to all operations and let us sit down and find a very lasting solution to this problem.
Environmental activists have, however, described his comments as dangerous, warning that such rhetoric could incite mining communities against security personnel. The fight against illegal mining has now reached a stage where collective action is crucial, as the survival of water bodies, farmlands and forest reserves hangs in the balance. With the stakes so high, experts insist that partisanship and sabotage must give way to unity and stronger national resolve. Without collaboration from all political actors, communities and state institutions, the dream of reclaiming Ghana's degraded lands and protecting its natural resources will remain elusive. Stanley Niblo, TV3 News.
Meanwhile, Media Relations Officer at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources says the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat is the only body mandated to coordinate and lead anti-illegal mining operations across the country.
Responding to concerns raised by the national organizer of the NDC, Joseph Yamin, over the operations of multiple task forces under the pretext of fighting illegal mining, the Media Relations Officer of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources says there is no cause for alarm.
Structurally and administratively, there is only one body that coordinates all anti-illegal mining operations across the country, and that outfit is the NAMOS, the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat. Indeed, as of just yesterday, they had collaborated with the Nzima East Blue Water Guards, where they had displaced some illegal miners, seized some 50 shamfans, and made other relevant inroads. The point about all of these is that it is NIMOS that has the mandate to coordinate all of these groups. And so when allegations of this nature are leveled and we check and we examine and we notice and realize that it does not involve the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, then really there is no cause for concern, because that is the legitimate outfit that has been mandated to lead the fight. And so for the fact that no accusation of such a nature has been slapped against NIMOS, there is really no cause for alarm.
Meanwhile, he said government is expected to announce enhanced measures to combat galamsey in the coming days.
Government has assured that it is going to launch a relentless and revived fight against illegal mining. Government has given that assurance. And as I speak to you, plans are afoot, plans are far advanced in that particular respect. In the coming days, I'm sure that the new raft of interventions to deal with this particular menace will be formally communicated. Then we can begin a national assessment on the renewed measures that government is employing to deal decisively with illegal menace.
And away from illegal mining, Ghana's largest produce purchasing firm, PBC Limited, has been revived under the current administration. The company has been positioned to purchase 100,000 metric tons worth of cocoa beans starting this year, the highest in more than 6 years. A report by Stanley Niblo.
PBC Limited, a state-owned cocoa purchasing agency, has over the last 8 years lost its market share due to lack of funds to purchase cocoa beans, fueling the smuggling menace. The company also now wallows in a 600 million cedi debt.
PBC is currently in debt. We are indebted to the banks. We are indebted to suppliers. We owe 20 months' salary to workers. We owe PC's commissions. We owe our suppliers. PBC is highly indebted.
Last year, PBC was only able to purchase 300 metric tons of cocoa. However, following the revival of the state agency, management has secured loan to purchase 100,000 metric tons of cocoa beans this year. This is targeted at changing the fortunes of the firm while curtailing smuggling of the country's cash crop. The secured funds sit in Cocoa's account while management awaits their release.
We can tell you for a fact that in our revival, we are coming into the market very strongly. We have secured the needed funding to be able to purchase over 100,000 metric tons, and therefore I can confidently say that PBC is back into the market. All the agreement with the needed off-takers has been signed, and we are good to go.
Eastern Regional Manager of PBC, Dr. Peter Afari, urged government to consider the construction of cocoa roads to enable easy access.
It delays the operation, and also it increases the cost of operation of the LBC because the roads are not good. And whenever it rains, the tractors and evacuation trucks, the trucks that go for the cocoa, they get stuck in the mud. And even it also leads to losses because sometimes the cocoa even gets wet. And the operatives there, the district managers, the cocoa marketing clerks, and also the depot clerks, they tend to suffer so much because cocoa will get wet. and even the speed of operation is also not there, it's delayed. However, PBC endeavors to operate in all those areas in spite of all these challenges because it's a buyer of last resort. It also prevents smuggling because these areas are also close to the border, especially Samraboy Enclave, Pristia, Eziama, Nkrofo, then Bunsumkwanta, Esem, Nkrankwanta, then we come to Uti region. They are all on the border belt. So anytime PBC is not present to buy cocoa, the farmers have no place to sell their cocoa, and that is where the smuggling goes on.
The revival of PBC marks a glimmer of hope for Ghana's cocoa sector, but industry watchers believe that unless issues of infrastructure, pricing and farmer welfare are addressed alongside the financial support, the gains could be short-lived. The purchase of 100,000 metric tons of cocoa beans signals a major step in restoring confidence in the company once on the brink of collapse. Stanley Niblew, TV3 News, Accra.
In more news tonight, the Western Railway line from Takoradi Port to Huni Valley is moving closer to completion, and it's been touted as a game changer for Ghana's 24-hour economy. The CEO of the Ghana Railway Development Authority, Dr. Frederick Apo, together with his directors and representatives from the ministry, inspected the site to confirm readiness as Amandi prepares to complete work on the Takoradi Port to Huni Valley Railway line. Irama Smith reports.
After more than a year of suspension, work on this crucial stretch of railway is back on track. Contractor Amandi is now racing to complete the final 15 kilometers linking Takoradi Port to the Nsuta mines, a route that will keep goods moving day and night under government's 24-hour economic policy. This line will carry millions of tons of manganese and bauxite to the Takoradi Port without pause. Manganese alone could earn the nation $75 million annually, with bauxite pushing the figure to $150 million, funds that could fuel jobs, industries, and economic expansion.
The Western Railway line forms the cornerstone of our 24-hour economic policy in terms of haulage, of manganese. At the moment, we are just 15 kilometers from Nsuta. So, like I told my general management team yesterday, and I'll repeat it here. This is termed as Operation Crackdown. We must reach Nsuta mines at all costs necessary. We were looking at estimation. If you look at it, 1 ton of manganese haulage from Nsuta to Takoradi Port is about $7.50. Now, we are looking at, GMC is looking at estimated 10 million metric tons. So that's about $75 million per annum. Now, assuming this scenario where we have 10 million metric tons of bauxite from Yenyeni, pile up at Nsuta, 5 million from Awaso, we are looking at estimated amount of 25 million metric tons. If we are able to haul this to Takoradi Port, we are looking at a consecutive amount of $150 million. So this project is bankable, and the viability, of course, depends on us as a technical management team, and together with the support of our board, we will be able to help push this agenda.
Beyond minerals, the line will help revive industries like the RMS Slipper Factory, which employs over 150 people, and open up new opportunities for freight operators, investors, and local businesses. But threats remain. Illegal mining and land encroachment along the railway corridor could slow progress. Authorities are warning offenders to stay clear or face prosecution.
Before the construction of railway lines, compensation were made to landowners. And so we own the land. We are urging, because it's a big challenge. When we currently, my CEO, Dr. Frederick Apo, is insisting, he's trying his best, doing everything he can for us to start the Teman Mpakadan operations. But due to encroachment, we are stuck, our hands are tied. And so we are urging encroachers to please stay away from railway lands. Those who are on lease know their limits. Those who are there illegally should please stay away from railway line. We will not spare anybody we find on our railway line.
When completed, freight will run through the night, passenger trains will roll by day, and bulk cargo will shift from road to rail, cutting congestion and emissions, protecting our roads while powering the continuous flow of goods and services envisioned in the 24-hour economy. With the final stretch now in sight, officials say it's full steam ahead to connect the Western region's resources to the world, 24 hours a day. Irama Smith, TV3 News, Western Region.
Let's now turn our attention to health, and we look at a developing health crisis where a startling new figure from the Ashanti region reveals an alarming rise in the number of women dying during childbirth. The recent figures far exceed national targets, prompting the Ghana Health Service to urgently roll out a new set of innovative strategies.
Data from the region's media performance review reveals a stark reality. Over 200 maternal deaths per 100,000 live births were recorded in the first half of 2025, as against a national goal of reducing the mortality ratio to 125 per 100,000 live births.
If you look at 2024, we had 150 maternal deaths from 100,000 live births, and then the year under review is 232 per 100,000 live births. When we analyze, we saw that even when we look at the deaths at Konfanoche, most of them were referred to Konfanoche. So the question is, if we can really build capacity at the peripheral areas where we can manage them so that they don't refer to Konfanoche, then it means that all these deaths are going to be curtailed.
The worrying trend has triggered a call to action from health officials. At the review meeting, the Ghana Health Services acknowledged the gravity of the situation and outlined an approach designed to reverse the numbers.
What we are going to do is that we are going to ride on this machine learning and telemedicine, where we are going to create a virtual labor room for Ashanti region with Konfanoche monitoring, so that when you enter Menchia Hospital, all of us are looking at that virtual labor room. And then the most important thing about this is that when you have about 10 cases that should be referred, they will be able to prioritize and tell, let number 2 come. We want to build what we call scale-ups around the periphery, where all these consultants, they will move there, give people hands-on training, and then follow them up and mentor them. We believe that if we're able to do this by the next 2-3 months, we will be able to compare from this time to when we put all these interventions, and the story will be better.
The new plan focuses on rapidly upgrading the skills of healthcare providers, particularly those in remote and underserved areas, by leveraging technology and direct mentorship.
What we mean, you have ICUs, you may not have anesthesiologists to manage the ICU. You may have cases where you will need specialist care.
The Regional Health Directorate believes that by empowering healthcare workers at all levels with knowledge and instant access to specialists, they can prevent common complications from becoming fatal.
The White Volta in Pwalugu in the Talensi district of the Upper East region is already overflowing its banks as a result of the rains, even before the Bagri Dam spillage. Farmers along the White Volta have started harvesting their crops to avoid flooding of their crops and property. Our Upper East regional correspondent Tanko Mohammed Rabiu has visited the farms and has come through with the following report.
More than 1,000 farmers cultivate land along the White Volta in the Talensi district due to the rich soil along the river banks. As usual, the majority of them are currently harvesting crops, including maize, cassava, yellow lemon, and others to avoid losses. Rainwater has already filled the river, which has begun destroying their crops. The Pwalugu Farmers Association chairman, Samuel Adawini Abora, appealed to government for the construction of the Pwalugu multi-purpose dam, which is the solution to curbing the devastation caused by the annual spillage.
Every year round the Bagri Dam will be open and the whole water will come and destroy a lot of our farm produce. If not because of the water, I think food will be very abundant for us. We are appealing to the Ghana government to try its best and build the battery dam for us, the dam for us.
At the cassava section of the farms, Samuel Adawini Abora explains how they are harvesting before maturity.
It's only that it is not up to its maturity, but it can be. Because if you are not able to harvest, and then the thing is taken by the water, how to get resources back and continue is not easy.
Some of the farmers also share their frustrations over the spillage.
The maize that you see that we're applicating, it was the same thing when we do the cassava, they say the onion finish, they would plant the onion, they say, we sow that corn. Look at when the rainfall, this is the rainfall corn. They haven't matured yet. This one, what is going to spoil it now?
This is yellow melon. It's still left about 5 to 7 harvesting time for it to be harvested. But as due to the water that is coming, what you can get out of the farm is what is belonging to you. But for the others, will be destroyed by the flood.
The spillage of Bari and Kopienga dams in Burkina Faso is scheduled to start from August 27. Every year, about 3,000 hectares of farmlands are submerged by flood waters from the spillage, affecting around 2,000 farmers. This devastation leads to the displacement of hundreds of people, the loss of lives, reduced agricultural output, loss of income and heightened food insecurity. It is hoped that the construction of the Pwalugu multi-purpose dam will materialize soon to tackle this annual crisis.
In more news tonight, Ghana's macroeconomic indicators have shown some improvement since the start of 2025, with inflation falling sharply from 25.3% in January to 12.1%. But the question remains, are these gains being felt by the ordinary Ghanaian? 3 Business has been finding out from traders and consumers in some markets across Accra.
At the Medina and Malamata markets, traders say the recent decline in inflation has brought some relief in the cost of basic food items compared to the same period last year. Prices of staples such as maize, rice and beans have seen slight reductions.
What we used to buy back then and now is not the same. We used to buy Royal Aroma 700, 800, but inshallah now it has reduced to 450, 460.
30. They say 25. Until what when they say, Mrs. Tabriesu, Osihusa, Obiampo Metobi. Na say Nankasa Yantade. I did to know.
1 olunka of maize used to be 30 Ghana cedis, but is now 25 Ghana cedis.
Food vendors, however, insist that any attempt to cut the price of cooked meals will threaten their operations. They argue that the reductions at the wholesale level are not enough to offset the rising costs of other inputs.
Last year, no, say the name boa I was no. And who say nema nature say wo a wo ton no obetiso.
Last year, prices were very high compared to this year. We have to pay workers among others. But since prices are now down, we would be able to pay workers.
Menua Niger and Togo. It say nye ahade ni bi because say Niger dey no eno no ede pa. Ya no ne board enti say Ghana ha ede no.
The beans I prepare is a type from Niger and Togo, not the Ghanaian one. I usually buy the type from Niger at 1,500 Ghana cedis and the type from Togo at 2,200 Ghana cedis per sack. So I balance the two when preparing small amounts of each.
Consumer advocacy group CATS International believes there is a need for government policy to regulate food pricing.
Some food vendors and import traders have formed cartels that they have agreed that they will not pass on the appreciated value of the cedi, the savings on the Ghanaian cedi to the consumers. And that is very bad. It's a conspiracy against the Ghanaian consumers. And the only way that we can address this thing is that when we have a consumer protection law and competition law that criminalizes the act of price fixing, and that once the act of price fixing is criminalized. Anybody found to have engaged in price fixing can face the full rigors of the law.
For now, while Ghana's macroeconomic indicators show progress on paper, the lived reality in the market suggests that the journey from stability to affordability is still far from over.
Let's go on to some other stories now. And the 2025 half-year report of the Office of the Special Prosecutor reveals no clear corruption evidence against former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dapaah after a joint investigation with the FBI. Panelists on the key points shared varied views about the report and what it means for the case going forward. There is more in the following report.
The Office of the Special Prosecutor in its 2025 half-year report revealed that after nearly 7 months of extensive investigation by the office and a parallel inquiry by the Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI) in the United States, no direct and immediate evidence of corruption was found. The finding relates to seized funds and frozen bank accounts linked to former Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources Cecilia Dapaah and her associates. The joint investigation sought to uncover any potential acts of corruption or illicit financial flows associated with the large sums of money and assets found in Cecilia Dapaah's possession. Despite the high-profile nature of the case and public interests, the authorities found no immediate evidence to support corruption charges related to those specific funds. The Office of the Special Prosecutor commenced its investigation in July 2023. This was in response to revelations about substantial cash amounts and other valuable items reportedly kept in the residence of the former minister. This prompted public outcry, leading to coordinated investigations both locally and internationally. The Office of the Special Prosecutor has not ruled out further action should new evidence emerge. Private legal practitioner and former Minister of Roads and Highways, Inusa Fuseni, who reacted to the 2025 half-year report on the key points, said the report does not exonerate the former minister.
If evidence comes up after diligent search, which was not available to the special prosecutor and which touches and concerns corruption, they can reopen the case. As we continue, corruption, it's finally revealed after diligent search an investigation that, she was involved in corruption. They can reopen the case. The case is not closed. That's what they are saying. But presently, they don't see corruption. But that doesn't mean that there is no corruption. Office of the Special Prosecutor, as the name suggests, has special jurisdiction. He has no general jurisdiction. His jurisdiction is to investigate corruption, corruption-related offenses, and breaches of the Procurement Act.
A political science lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Joshua Zato, also speaking on the key points, noted that the 2025 half-year report has vindicated the former Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources.
The God and the gods of Cecilia Dapaah, God bless you. Continue to enjoy your peace. Indication is really in the womb of time. After nearly 7 months of extensive investigations by the office and a parallel inquiry by the Federal Bureau of Investigations in the United States, no direct and immediate evidence of corruption was found in respect of seized funds and frozen bank account linked to Ms. Dapaah and her associates. If you believe that Akufo-Addo was covering up for her, then you also have to believe that President Mahama is covering up for her. 2, if you believe that Akufo-Addo was not covering up for her, then you have to believe that President Mahama is not covering up for her.
For private legal practitioner Martin Pebu, as far as the law is concerned, whoever cannot explain the source of large amounts in his or her account or home will have to answer questions relating to the money.
So the key point I'm making on this key points program is that by Article 286 of our Constitution, it says if we find you with something that you cannot explain as a public officer, the source of that asset, it is illegally obtained. And that is money laundering when it comes to the criminal law. And so that is what Iyoko is looking into. So all those saying that, oh, she's been exonerated, I'm like, what exoneration? Iyoko has a file.
Private legal practitioner Austin Brago Powers, who also spoke on the key points, said the half-year report contains information that is already known to the public.
When I read the report, I had no doubt in my mind that the OSP was forcefully right in saying that when we investigated we found no corruption or corruption-related offense having been committed by Cecilia Dapaah. However, there were instances or suspected cases of money laundering and extraction. I think the appropriate act was what the OSP did by referring the docket to Iyoko to carry out that process. But that should not be misconstrued by anybody, that the OSP has cleared Cecilia Dapaah of any wrongdoing altogether.
In more news tonight, the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service says government has invested in advanced technology to enhance road traffic law enforcement nationwide. Director of Education, Research and Training at the MTTD, Chief Superintendent Alexander Kwekubing, says the IT system will help secure Ghana's roads and stop criminals, especially those dealing in stolen vehicles.
The Ghana Police Service between January and July 2025 recovered 43 high-value luxury cars stolen from abroad and shipped to Ghana. The Director in charge of Education, Research and Training at the Motor Traffic and Transport Department, Chief Superintendent Alexander Kwekubing, says the police service is actively monitoring individuals attempting to evade detection.
Such contraband vehicles that is required to be impounded for the Commissioner General or the Custom and Excise official of GRA to ensure that the current owner who has evaded tax is forthcoming. And so through myriad of police, physical vigilance and investigative processes, such evidence brings to bear photographically, visually, vehicles and their owners who are evading tax and have contraband vehicles on our roads. And such vehicles are impounded and availed to the Registrar General for the owners to be forthcoming through criminal processes and then surcharges and other state taxes demanded of same.
He revealed plans to roll out a high-tech system designed to identify road traffic offenders and access vehicle details through the national database.
The reason why police, we are in a hurry to automate our traffic law enforcement operation in Ghana under the broad name TrafficTech GH, where we have installed our capacity, ICT capacity. We have our back office, and we are currently testing. And in the process of that, we are able in real time, when such violations are captured with the vehicle owners, or the vehicle registration number, we are quickly able to connect with the existing national data on the vehicle owners' records to know whether the vehicle is properly owned, properly registered, has appropriate insurance and all that. Through this process, we are pretty sure, and we've tested it full circle.
According to Chief Superintendent Alexander Kwekubing, investigations have uncovered cases where criminals used fake license plates or registered vehicles that do not exist. He added that some vehicle owners have also been implicated in tax evasion.
Police, MTTD, and therefore Ghana Police Service is investing towards to ensure that our road become secured, become so alert, smart, and ensure that it becomes deterrent for many who want to cheat the system by bringing into the Republic vehicles that are contraband.
The Ghana Police Service says efforts have been intensified in collaboration with the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Economic and Organized Crime Office, and international partners to combat vehicle-related crime. The public has been urged to take advantage of Interpol's database and other verification systems before making vehicle purchases.
It's a drug that has been hailed as a miracle solution for weight loss. Ozempic is now trending worldwide, but health regulations are raising red flags over a potential link to sudden vision loss. Here in Ghana, where obesity is common, doctors say the conversation of its side effects has just begun. There's more on this report by Emunam Haliga.
Ghana is changing. Obesity, once rare, is now a growing health concern. And with it comes a search for quick fix to get rid of excess weight. Ozempic is fast becoming the favorite. It is widely praised for helping patients with type 2 diabetes and more recently for dramatic weight loss. But now, regulators in Europe are warning of a rare yet serious side effect, a sudden vision loss. The European Medicine Agency says Ozempic may trigger a condition known as NION, essentially an eye stroke. It is estimated to affect 1 in 10,000 users each year.
It's been shown to improve weight loss in the sense that it has other mechanisms where it delays emptying of food from the stomach. So you have this increase in satiety for a long time. That also affects your number of times you want to eat and could also lead to weight loss. Another way it works is also it suppresses the appetite stimulation in the brain. Also that causes to a point where you don't also eat a lot. So, yeah.
Despite the warning, demand for Ozempic is booming worldwide. For many struggling with obesity, it seems like a miracle solution. But in Ghana, the conversation takes a different weight. 13% of adults are obese. 50% of women 20 to 49 are overweight or obese. Rates in Accra are nearly double the national average. Obesity in Ghana is rising sharply, especially in urban areas where diets are changing fast. And more Ghanaians are beginning to look at drugs like Ozempic for answers.
I've used Ozempic on 2 different occasions. That was in 2022 and 2024. When you ask what changes did I see in my body, I wouldn't say I noticed any changes in my body aside maybe losing weight. Even the weight loss, it wasn't significant. When I was using Ozempic, it made me feel very sick, extremely sick. It makes you feel terrible, like you feel tired, you feel nauseous all the time. You can't do anything. You literally want to stay in bed the whole day. It makes you so tired, so sick. Its side effects are really terrible.
Stories like hers raise difficult questions. Doctors here say they are beginning to get questions about Ozempic, but many warn patients are rushing into the hype without fully understanding the risk.
Most of the side effects I mentioned were common side effects like the nausea, constipation, diarrhea. But yeah, there indeed are more serious side effects like it can affect your pancreas and cause pancreatitis. It can cause what we call gastroparesis, in a sense, if I can say maybe paralysis of your stomach, just to explain it. But they're exceedingly rare. Some people have shown some elements of association with pancreatic malignancy.
Experts stress that the foundation of a healthy diet, exercise, and preventive care cannot be replaced by a pill or an injection. And as obesity rises, the focus must shift from treatment to prevention.
The healthy ways to lose weight, scientifically recommended one is to exercise. Depending on the kind of physique you want to have, you would have to exercise, and then watch out your food and then the beverages you take. Of course, having a healthy diet actually enhances your chances of having a healthy weight. So one is to exercise really to keep your weight in check. If you have some high levels of weight, it is exercising with optimal or balanced diet that can help you lose the weight.
Clearly, in the fight against obesity, there are no magic solutions, just choices, risk, and consequences. For Ghana, the challenge is only beginning. Emunam Haliga, TV3 News, Accra.
We have more news coming up shortly. Do stay with us. Let's now continue with the rest of our stories. And the West Africa Examinations Council has informed the public and its stakeholders that it has released provisional results of candidates who sat for the BECE for School Candidates 2025. The council will dispatch the results of school candidates to their respective schools through the Metropolitan, Municipal and District Directors of Education. The results are also available on its official website, that's www.wayekgh.org, for candidates who so desire to access them online. A total of 603,328 candidates comprising 297,250 males and 306,078 females from 20,395 participating schools entered for the examinations. And following completion of investigations into exam malpractices into a number of cases of irregularity detected during the conduct of the exams and marking of scripts, the 36th meeting of the Final Awards and Examiners Appointment Committee of the BECE was held on Friday, 15th August 2025, and approved these following: cancellation of subject results of 718 candidates, cancellation of the entire result of 177 candidates, and withholding of subject results of 1,240 candidates, and withholding of the entire result of 93 candidates. So, WAEC has released the provisional results of the BECE this year.
Still on education, the Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Ernest Kofi Davis, says efforts are being made to secure financial clearance for some 6,000 teachers whose salaries have delayed. His remarks follow earlier protest by some newly trained teachers who picketed the premises of the Education Ministry earlier to demand payment of their 10-month salary arrears.
The process for onboarding, when we started, 16,000 plus teachers were onboarded. But then we couldn't finish processing all of them. So some 10,000 plus were able to be onboarded. Almost 6,000 were not able to be onboarded for various reasons. So we needed to apply for their clearance to be reactivated for us to be able to finish the onboarding process. And these are the teachers you usually see picketing.
I'm happy you mentioned that 10,000 people have been placed or put on the payroll, and you are working to make sure the other 6,000 are put on payroll, because you said you're going for extension of the clearance to make sure it is done. They are also Ghanaians. They are qualified people.
Now we have news just coming in, and it has to do with one of the stories we brought to you this evening, which is the spillage of the Bagri Dam. And the latest we have received is that the situation, which was earlier scheduled to start on the 27th of August, has been moved forward to Monday, the 25th of August. That is when the spillage will happen. This is because a statement has just been released by Sonabel, which is the hydroelectric production company in neighboring Burkina Faso, and they say that the situation as of the 23rd of August, which is today, is as follows. The Bagri Dam elevation, which is 234.27 meters, and the filling rate, or the speed with which the water is rising in the dam, is 90.24%. Because of that, they have had to bring forward the spillage date. Again, another dam, the Kompienga Dam, the level is 177.9 meters, and the filling rate, or the speed with which the water is rising, is 79%, or 79 meters. And due to the speed of the rise in water levels of these two dams, the spillage, which was earlier scheduled for August 27, will now take place on Monday, August 25. So all persons living in and around the Bagri Dam will need to start paying attention, because the spillage will happen on Monday, and the state authorities, as well as the national security and all relevant bodies, need to be attentive to this particular information. Still watching News 360. Stay with us. We have the latest in the world of sports right after this.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen. Now, Ghanaian women's side police ladies have arrived in Ivory Coast ahead of their Women's CAF Champions League qualification tournament, which will begin with a clash against Nigeria's Bayelsa Queens on Sunday. Now, head coach Yusuf Basigi is eager to get the campaign off to a flyer.
I have a wonderful technical team, technical staff, and we've always been putting our heads together to have our tactical ploy as to how to go match after match. So coming here, we are not going to underrate any club because everyone is here for one particular purpose, and we are no exception. So that means that all champions are meeting here. So therefore, we don't need to look back, and we are not leaving any stone unturned than to play match after match in order to achieve our set target.
Yeah, we are not under pressure. The expectations are very high. We are calm, and then planning as to how to go about every match. However, I know Ghanaians are expecting so much from us because this time round we really follow women football. So we are not also going to let them down. We also ensure.
Moving on, in the last few days, various statements have been released by Swedish striker Alexander Isak and Newcastle, highlighting a friction as the former seeks a move to Liverpool this summer. Now, speaking in an exclusive on Warm Up Plus, Jose Rodriguez, who serves as a football agent to former Arsenal captain Granit Xhaka, believes it's the player's duty to stick to his current contract at the club to avoid complications.
Wenn es in eine schwierige Verhandlungssituation kommt, Lösungen zu finden.
But we from our side, we try to find solutions, right solutions, and talk about those.
Right. Weil wir müssen respektieren, dass wir einen Vertrag haben mit dem Club und auch der Spieler mit dem Club, und den müssen wir respektieren.
And we have to respect that the player has a contract with the club, and we as agent also have a contract with the club, so we have to have a respectful relationship on that.
Das ist eine gute Frage.
It's a very good question.
Weil man hört immer nur über Millionen Transfers, Millionen Gehälter und Millionen Kommissionen.
Well, you only hear most of the time about the million transfers, the million commissions, but that's just a small percentage.
10%, 15% der Big Players, darum geht es.
It's just like a 10 to 15%.
Aber Tausende von Spielern in Europa brauchen eine unglaubliche Unterstützung.
But 1,000 other players need the support.
Und das ist ein Teil unseres Business, sie vorzubereiten von dem Jugendspieler zu den Profis.
And that's part of our business, to prepare them from a youth player becoming a good player.
Now, Victor Gyökeres scored his first Arsenal goals as the Gunners put 5 parts lease after the unveiling of new signing Eberechi Eze before kickoff. And earlier on Saturday, Tottenham Hotspur shocked Manchester City at the Etihad with a 2-0 victory, whilst Antoine Semenyo got his first assist in the league as Bournemouth defeated Wolves.
Richarlison, Kudus sprinting through the centre, Johnson arriving, and Brennan Johnson sweeps it in. That this goal should stand. And Spurs have their lead. That's a horrendous moment.
Tonight in this segment, Season 14 Talented Kids winner Abigail was celebrated at the recently concluded Purple Fox event in Accra. The young dancer was recognized for her exceptional courage and for inspiring children across the country with her remarkable achievements in dance.
Season 14 Talented Kids winner Abigail recently received a special citation from Purple Fox Events honoring her remarkable journey in dance. The award celebrates not only her impressive talent, but also the hard work and dedication she has shown throughout her career. From her early steps on stage to becoming a celebrated young dancer, Abigail's passion and perseverance have clearly set her apart. Grateful for the recognition, Abigail expressed how much the citation means to her. "It's truly humbling to see my journey acknowledged in this way," she said. "This recognition motivates me to keep pushing forward and growing as an artist. With this honor, Abigail's story inspires many young dancers who dream of making their mark through dedication and love for their craft." The fun-filled day featured games, competitions, jams and live performances from various artists and rising stars, including Talented Kids Season 15 winner Biscuit. The event not only celebrated achievements, but also brought together a vibrant community of young creatives, reaffirming the importance of nurturing talent from an early age.
See a lot of talents coming up because some people have taken the step, which is a good thing. So we are encouraging that. Apart from books, I think that extra curriculum like talent creation is necessary for our Gen Z. So yes, why not? We support that, we promote that, and that's why we organize the fair.
Time now for international news.
U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has fired the Pentagon's intelligence agency chief just weeks after a White House rebuke of a review assessing the impact of American strikes on Iran. Lieutenant General Jeffrey Cruz will no longer serve as head of U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency DIA, the Pentagon said in a statement. 2 other senior military commanders have also been ousted by the Pentagon. The Defense Department has not offered any immediate explanation on the firings. In June, President Donald Trump has pushed back strongly on a leaked DIA report that found out attacks on Iran had only set back its nuclear program by months. The White House declared the agency's assessment flat out wrong. Turkey's First Lady has urged Melania Trump to speak out for children suffering in Israel's war in Gaza. Emine Erdogan praised the U.S. First Lady's support for children affected by Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, asking Trump to extend the advocacy to Palestinians. In a letter published by the Turkish presidency on Saturday, Mrs. Erdogan said Gaza had become a children's cemetery, telling Mrs. Trump, "We must unite our voices and strength against this injustice."
And that's it for our package this evening. Thank you so much for watching. I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey.
And I am Portia Gabor. Good evening.
Barman 442.